to tonight's Target 8 investigation. Our investigators are getting a West Michigan take on the federal government's change of heart about UFOs. The government went from denying unexplainable sightings to admitting people are seeing things that nobody can identify and releasing military video of some of them.
It wasn't like that, though, in 1994, when strange lights lit the sky over the lakeshore. Tonight, our Target 8 investigators are discovering how that sighting changed the lives of the people who watched it, and the government's new attitude, what it means to them.
Here's Target 8 investigator Henry Erb.
Today, 3/8/94. The time, 21:30 hours. They're right there in the sky. This is something we've never seen before.
Unexplained lights over Holland on March 8th, 1994. Strange stuff. Didn't look like a plane or anything else people are used to. Had them calling 911.
911? Okay, I don't know if you guys do anything on UFOs at all. There were at least 4 lights.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Bad Frequency TV. It's your boy Drew, and this week we're going to be talking about the 1994 Michigan UFO event. March 8th, 1994. It was just another cold evening along Michigan's western shoreline. Families were relaxing at home. Police officers were beginning another routine night shift. Meteorologists were monitoring the weather. No one had any idea that within the next few hours, hundreds of people would witness one of the most famous UFO sightings in American history. A case involving eyewitnesses, 911 recording, police officers, and perhaps most surprisingly, radar confirmation from the National Weather Service. More than 30 years later, no explanation has managed to answer every question. Tonight on Bad Frequency TV, we're diving into the mysterious events surrounding the 1994 Michigan UFO sighting. Chapter 1. The First Sightings. Around 9 p.m., residents near Holland, Michigan began noticing strange lights hovering around Lake Michigan. At first, many assumed they were planes, but something didn't feel right. The lights weren't following normal flight paths. Instead, witnesses described several bright objects that hovered silently over the lake. Some reported white lights. Others described glowing red, green, and blue lights. Many estimated that there were anywhere from 3 to 6 separate objects. Then the impossible began. Witnesses claimed that the lights suddenly accelerated. Some appeared to separate into multiple objects. Others emerged back together. Several people watched them dart across the sky at incredible speeds before stopping almost instantly. One eyewitness compared them to Christmas lights floating in the sky. As more people stepped outside, more phones began ringing. Chapter 2. The 911 calls. Normally, emergency dispatch centers receive calls about accidents, fires, and crimes. But that night, operators began receiving something very different. Caller after caller reported strange lights hovering over Lake Michigan. Many callers had never spoken to each other, yet their descriptions were remarkably similar. Some insisted the objects were not airplanes. Others couldn't explain how anything could move so quickly. The number of reports continued growing. Eventually, more than 300 witnesses across western Michigan would report seeing unusual objects that night. That's one reason this case remains so compelling. This wasn't one person claiming to see something unusual. It was the entire community, where everyone was witnessing the same event. Chapter 3. Police officers respond. Naturally, dispatchers contacted local police. Officers headed towards locations where people were reporting the light. Instead of dismissing the calls, some officers reported seeing the objects themselves. They described bright lights hovering over Lake Michigan At times, they appeared stationary. Then suddenly they would move, not gradually, but instantly. The reports became so unusual that officers contacted the National Weather Service in Muskegon, Michigan. If these objects were real, surely radar would detect. What happened next would become one of the most debated parts of this entire mystery. Okay, so we have this crazy story about lights in the sky, people, seeing unexplained objects. Even the National Weather Radar guy was like, oh my God, there's something crazy going on in the sky. Chapter 4, The Radar Operator. Working that night was National Weather Service radar operator Jack Bushong. Police asked him if weather radar showed anything unusual. According to the recordings made that evening, he reportedly exclaimed, "Oh my God, what is this?"
And a whole bunch of calls with some strange lights. Well, oh my God, what is this? They were going together and coming apart.
Bushing told dispatchers that he could clearly see unidentified targets on radar. He described large objects moving across western Michigan and out over Lake Michigan. At one point, he reported something enormous near Holland. Then came an observation that still fuels debate today. Bushing watched one target move from near South Haven to roughly 10 miles offshore in only 10 seconds. If accurate, that speed would far exceed what conventional civilian aircraft could accomplish. Even more intriguing, the radar observations appeared to match many of the eyewitness reports coming in from police and civilians. This was no longer just a visual sighting. There appeared to be something showing up electronically as well. Chapter 5. What did people see? Descriptions varied, but certain details appeared again and again. Witnesses described large glowing lights, perfect circles, triangular formations, objects changing colors, completely silent movements, rapid acceleration, sudden stops, and formations that split apart before joining back together. Some believed they were watching several separate aircraft. Others thought it was one object changing shape. Whatever people witnessed, most agreed it behaved unlike anything they had ever seen before. Chapter 6. Possible explanations. What blows my mind about this is that there's a ton of different theories as to what is going on and what happened. And it's just crazy. A whole town, county, hundreds of people witnessed to this. And there's theories about what this could be. Theory 1, atmospheric conditions. Skeptics, they love to point out anything that does with the atmosphere, right? One thing they love to say is it could be, temperature inversion. The weather phenomenon can bend light over long distances, causing distance lights to appear elevated and distorted. People also say it can create unusual radar echoes. This explanation could account for some of the witnesses' reports, but many argue it doesn't explain everything, especially the apparent rapid movements seen both visually on and off radar. Theory 2, military activity. Another thing people love to suggest is, military. Lake Michigan has long been used for military training exercises. Experimental aircraft have remained classified for years before becoming public knowledge. Could witnesses have unknowingly observed advanced military technology? It's possible. Theory 3, mass misidentification. But the fact to move 10 miles in 10 seconds, even for, a military aspect is insane, and I don't even think we have that capability now, let alone 30 years ago. While mass misidentification has happened before, critics argue that it's difficult to explain why police officers, trained observers, and weather radar operators all reported unusual activity at roughly the same time. Another thing that people love to say is maybe it was just a simple, an ordinary group of planes, and people just misidentified it, and it caused a mass situation of misidentification. Theory 4. I think for the last theory, it would be pretty obvious to say it could have been aliens. Look at the facts. You have a whole county that looked up and seen the same thing. Multiple reports. Officers, people of prestigious pedigree in the community, all seeing the same thing. So, my conclusion is the 1994 Michigan UFO sighting remains one of the most fascinating unexplained events in American history. Hundreds of witnesses, police officers, emergency dispatch recordings, and radar observations from the National Weather Service. Few UFO cases contain all of those elements. Whether the answer lies in atmospheric science, secret military technology, or something humanity still doesn't understand, one thing is for certain. For the people who stood along the shores of Lake Michigan that cold March night, something extraordinary happened. And more than 3 decades later, we're still asking the same question. What exactly was flying over Michigan?